Hello friends, I hope everybody's doing well, and welcome to part 2 of the Gravely trailer repairs. If you saw part 1 in the series, I struggled trying to break this tire down, and what I was having is a problem with the outer bead here, trying to break it down. I mean, I already had bought the tube for it because this was a tubeless tire and it had a pretty bad leak in it. So I struggled trying to break this down here, the bead down here, but the inner part wasn't too bad. It was like normal. This is like the hardest tire I ever had to do here. And what I did in part 1 is I took the tire off, and there was a lot of rust, powdered rust in there, and I just cleaned out the tire real good, made sure there was nothing in the tire itself. So it was probably most likely leaking around the bead, or since the tire's pretty much dry rotted, it could have been leaking, you know. I really didn't have to check for a leak. I just made sure there was nothing in the tire. And the inner part, like I said, the inner part of the bead was no problem to break down. And where the bead meets the rim here, I didn't go crazy cleaning that. I just cleaned, I wiped it down real good because we were using a tube. So if you're using like a tubeless tire, you want to make sure the bead is clean all the way around, because then you could develop a rim leak. Okay, so in today's video, since this tire is holding up good, I did it a week ago. There's 2 grease fittings to grease the bearing and the axle, and you use a grease gun, and we're going to be greasing both sides. And today what we're going to do also is, the trailer did not come with a seat. So in part 1 I showed you that plank we were going to be using. So I showed you this 2-inch plank here, which I thought was pretty ridiculous to make the seat out of. So upon my search inside the shed here, I found this piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and so far what I did was I just made sure it was square here. Okay, so we get a nice square piece of wood here, and I checked both sides here, and it seems to be pretty square. This side wasn't so square. It looks like this is where the cutoff piece was. I have no idea where this piece of wood came from, so we're going to be using this 3/4 inch plywood instead. I bought the carriage bolts already, thinking I was going to be using the 2-inch piece, and what I wanted was 2 1/4 inch carriage bolts, but they only sold them 2.5. So I don't care about that, because better too long than too short. So once I mount this to the tractor, to the trailer, I can cut off the excess amount of thread that's hanging down. Now, I just saw on the marketplace somebody's selling this same trailer. This is the metal version, and they also came in a wooden version. I guess the older ones were wooden. And the guy's asking $325 for it. It's on the marketplace. So that makes me even hate to have to drill holes in this thing even more. But it's the only way I could put a seat on there. Like I said, it didn't come with a seat. It came with the tailgate and everything. And it's a pretty solid trailer. I actually need this trailer tomorrow, because I have to cut some brush in the yard here that's growing over the fence. So I more or less want to get it done today. So I bought a new, I'll show you. Okay, so I bought a new blade for the circular saw here, and I bought it from Harbor Freight. I wanted to get the one that was a little bit better, but this one was only $5. And I don't do much carpentry work. Even if it just gets through cutting this plywood here, it'll be fine. What's on here now, this blade here, I used it and abused it. I mean, I was cutting PVC pipe with it, anything you can imagine. Plus I was cutting pallets for to make bonfires when I go down to my brother's. He has a fire pit, and I was hitting nails and everything with it, cutting the pallets. So when I was making my sticker board, I think that was a 1/4 inch paneling. Yeah, I think it was a 1/4 inch, 1/8 or a 1/4 inch. I was having trouble even cutting through that. So I figured I would just buy this Bauer blade here for $5. I was gonna get the better blade, but they seem to be all out of them. So I just bought this. We just need to cut this plywood today. Okay, so the blade turns to the left here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the old blade. I don't know if this is reverse thread that holds these blades. I haven't changed one of these blades out in a long time. You never want to hold the blade by the edge when you're doing this either. Yeah, no, it's regular. It goes on regular. Then you have the washer here, and then you want to lift your guard up. And then there's an arrow right on the blade here itself, which way it turns. There's an arrow right here. I'm pretty sure you're still in focus. Then you just want to stick your washer back on, and then we just tighten this up, and then we can get started. And do I have this on backwards, or is it on right? Yeah, no, it's right. It says this is a framing blade. I guess it's for framing. Whatever, we just need to cut this piece of wood with it. And we don't need nothing fancy here for this, I don't think. So we just go ahead and tighten this back up. And I'm going to measure and mark the wood. And then I'll probably just cut one piece off to see how this thing works. And then that's plenty enough, good enough tight. Okay, I'll be back to you. I may just save this blade for cutting whatever stuff I shouldn't be cutting with it. I mean, it doesn't even cut anymore. I don't know, I'll decide later. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Messed that up pretty good. No big deal. Worked out pretty decent. Let me bring it to the trailer and see what it looks like. I still have to decide the width. I don't know how wide I'm going to want it. So, alright, let's take a look and see. Okay, so I cut a 12-inch piece wide, which is this piece here, and then I ended up with an 11-inch piece. I'm thinking I'm going to just go with the 11-inch piece here, because I don't want too much covering over the trailer here. And it seems to be comfortable enough. I'll just save this piece over here if I ever need it. So I'm going to get set up, and then we'll drill the holes out for it. And I hope that I can drill the holes, you know, pretty straight. Okay, so I was able to drill through the wood fine with the 5/16 drill bit. But when I got to the metal, it wanted to start sliding around. So what I did was I took some of my self-tapping screws here that have the Phillips head on it. And what I did was I just ran that self-tapping screw down through the metal. And now I can go ahead, because I have a pilot hole, I can go ahead and use the 5/16 drill again to get the hole for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably go to the other side. I'm going to fasten this. I'm going to put the carriage bolt in and tighten up the nut on this so it's stable. And maybe we won't have that problem anymore. But if I do, the self-tapping screw works to get through the metal. Okay, so this is working out really cool. I've drilled a hole out here, and I drilled a hole out here. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just placing this in here. I'm not drilling it out, because what the problem is right now is after I drill the wood and then I use that self-tapper screw, I'm having trouble getting the screw back out. So I always have to lift the wood off. And I'm going to continue all the way around. I got to see what happens in these corners here. We'll see what happens. I'm just trying to spread these out a little bit here. I think it'll be no problem. I mean, it's only holding the seat on. So once I get the holes drilled out and everything, I'll start bolting it in. Okay, so it worked out pretty good so far. I drilled the holes out. I put one on the corner here, and then I just went along the seat, the front part. And then I just put another one back here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a washer on them and put a nut on there and tighten them all up, and then we'll see how we end up. And then I'll grease it up, and then I think it'd be only right to take it for a spin around the lot back here. Okay, so I greased up the wheels like I told you before, and fortunately the right side tire has a tube in it, and which is holding air fine, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And unfortunately it started drizzling, so I bolted the seat down here, but I never got to cut the excess off the bolts. Now I don't know what my intentions are with this, whether to just clean it up. I know the bed is going to need a paint job here. I just scraped some of the rust out, probably spray it or brush some Rust-Oleum on it. Or if anybody else has any other ideas to coat this bed here. What else? I think that's about it for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet you out in the parking lot. We'll take it for a spin around the parking lot here and see how it does. Another thing I never thought of, this trailer dumps, so let's see if it clears the handlebars all right. So it worked out good. It works great. So, like I said, if anybody has a comment on what I could, even if I have to paintbrush it on, I don't care to put it inside the bed. For now, I'm probably just going to clean up the trailer. It looks like somebody just primed it. So, as far as color goes, I don't know, because all my Graveleys are starting to be orange Graveleys now because they're newer. My dad's is still a red one because it's a 1956, and that doesn't get used too much. But the 67, I call it the L8 because I call this one, the 73 here, a C8. And I'm pretty sure the 67 is a C8 as well, but I'm still going to keep calling it an L8. All right, so our next project is going to be, I got to clean this mess up that's in my work truck. I got lawnmower parts in there, Gravely parts. I got to get everything situated. And I'm going to be dragging out the 67, the main snowplow tractor. And we're going to take the whole tractor apart. I'm going to sand everything down to the bare metal, and we're going to paint it orange. And I think I'm going to do a combination of colors. I'll ask you guys as soon as I start doing the project, because like the 69 Gravely, orange. I mean, everything's orange. They painted them, so I want to break up the monotony a little bit. I don't know whether to just paint the transmission like black and just do all the tins and the hood and everything like that orange, with black handlebars. I don't know. We'll decide that when we start the project. So this is going to be it for this series. It's only a 2-part series, and thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you guys on the next one. Stay well, everybody.